Hey house guests, welcome to today's Celebrity Big Brother updates and spoilers. Here are our lovely house guests of the day. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. Whoop whoop. Alright, so let's talk about the love that these house guests do not have for each other. Yesterday, when we left off, nobody wanted to talk to Shannon and James. Nobody wanted to be left alone with them because they are going up on the block and it is awkward AF. So Shannon and James finally get Ross alone to talk in the landmark room. Shannon was in her bed and she's like already, you could tell she's bummed out. She's like, I feel like I'm going up on the block. So yeah, I'm not really excited about like hanging out with people because I think Ross was like, are you okay? And Shannon's like, I think that Ari's gonna put up me and James. And that sucks. So Ross is acting like he has no idea what's going on. He's like, oh, I haven't even heard any strategy talks, so I don't know. Come on, man. Okay, so then Shannon's like, I think I've lost all my fight. Are you freaking serious? 2 people have gone home so far. 2 people. You've lost your fight in the middle of a 2.5-week season? What? Okay, she is like one of the biggest super fans in the house right now. She should know that anything can change in like a matter of an hour. So just get it together. So James is like, why would Ari go against the plan? And Shannon's like, yeah, I thought the targets were supposed to be Omarosa and Meta. So like, what's going on here? I guess Brandy's in her ear because everybody's like, oh, Brandy. So Ross is like, I don't know, guys. I just haven't been able to get people alone to talk. So again, like, I don't know what's going on. I have no part in this. So then James is like, all right, well, you're close with Ari and Brandy. Could you, like, advocate for us and, like, go talk to Brandy and Ari? Tell them to stick with the game plan? Oh my god, it was Chilltown on the phone. No, it wasn't. All right, so Ross is like, yeah, that's fine. I will go see what I can do. Yeah, friggin' right. So Ross leaves. Shannon and James are alone, and Shannon's just like, I don't have it in me anymore. Ah! So then James is telling her, snap out of it. He's trying to give her a motivational speech. He's like, you're so amazing. You're like the best player ever in this house. Oh my god. Shannon is crying. She's like, I've been attacked since day 1. I don't have any friends in here. You know when like somebody tells their friend, I have no friends in here? It's like the saddest thing ever. But James is like, there's still a game to be played here, and you're damn good at this game. Is she, though? Okay. So then Ross is in the bathroom area with Ari, and he's like, just so you know, I was just talking to James and Shannon, and I'm playing dumb with them. So just like, be cool, homie, be cool. Alright, we'll come back to that. So then James and Meta were in the gym, and James is like, have you spoken to Ari yet and like asked her to send you home? Oh my god. When all else fails, see if Meta is actually ready to go home. So Meta's like, oh, come on, they all know that I want to go. So James is like, yeah, but like, I don't think you're going up at this point. It seems like Brandy's trying to screw things up. They all think it's Brandy, but like Ari has her own brain. So he's like, you should probably talk to Ari, and if you do still want to go home, just like let her know so she knows for sure and she won't put me up. So then James and Ross were chatting one-on-one in the speakeasy lounge, and Ross is like, okay, update, I did talk to Ari and Brandy a million times, and they said they want to go after strong players. So James is like, oh, so myself and Shannon? And Ross is like, I would imagine. You freaking know! You know what's going on. So then Ross is like, it's just like, you gotta get yourselves off the block. It's as simple as that. And he agrees to use the veto on James if he's playing and he wins. I don't see that happening. Also, he agrees if James is still up on the block at the end of the week to help him get the votes to stay. Yeah, that makes sense. So then James starts like hinting at a final 2 deal, and he's saying, you know, we're not going to beat the girls. If we're in the final 2 with a girl, she's going to win, so we need 2 guys to be there. I got you. Okay, so that I'm wondering if Ross is thinking about that. Is he going to be able to beat one of the girls? I don't know. It depends on who it is. So then Ross relayed his James conversation to Brandy and Ari up in the HOH room. And he's like, all right, guys, I told James that you're targeting strong players and that I don't want him to go. So then Brandy's like, okay, I know that it's smart for you to keep a relationship with, I was going to say Ross. He is Ross. To keep a relationship with James and Shannon, but you're making it look like this is all on Ari, and that's not okay. Like, that's not cool. So Ross is like, well, it is her decision, but I'm all in. And Brandy's like, it's our decision. So then Ross is like, all right, tell me what you want. What I really want. And I'll do it. So Brandy's like, okay, here's what I want. I want you to maintain your relationships with those other people because it's good for our alliance. You know, we got to keep in the know on everything. But I also want you to say on camera right now that you're really with us. So Ross is like, I've been saying it in the diary room. I've been saying it to you. Like, I am with you guys all the way. Don't worry about that. Okay, so then they all agree Shannon is still the #1 target. Yippee! And then if the veto is used on either Shannon or James, Mark will go up as the pawn because he agreed to do that. Okay, so then Ross talks to James again in the lounge. He's really running back and forth being the go-between right now. And Ross is like, all right, new update. I don't think you're the target. You know he's not. And James promises not to say anything to Shannon or anybody about it. He's like, okay, cool, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. So then James is like, you're the only person in here who hasn't tried to throw me under the bus. Oh, what? No. So then Ross is like, okay, here's my advice to you. You need to be cordial with everybody. You need to be cool. And if you could win the veto and save yourself, that would be great. So then he's saying, if it is still you and Shannon at the end of the week, I think you'll be fine votes-wise. But if Shannon wins the veto, that's going to be a little bit trickier to pull off. You're going to really need to work hard to get Omarosa up next to you because who would go home against James? James is a huge threat. So then a little while later, the feeds go down for nominations, and as planned, Shannon and James were nominated. And when the feeds came back, Shannon was very upset. She was in the landmark bedroom with Brandy, and Brandy's telling her, you and James are the two strongest, best, most amazing players in the house. So, you know, we had to go after you. She's saying Omarosa is easier to beat than you guys. She's got the asthma thing going. You know, she's a liar. Nobody trusts her. So she's not really a threat to them right now. So Shannon's like, I was fighting for you guys and no one was honest with me. I was never going against you guys. And everything Shannon's saying right now is pretty much true. I mean, she got the short end of the stick here, but she is not really handling it well. So Marissa, Ross, and Ari all come in, and Shannon's like, you guys all threw me under the bus. Everything I've done was for the group, because Brandy keeps saying, like, all your moves were for yourself. But Shannon's like, no, it was for the group. So then she's asking everybody, why am I such a threat? And Brandy, Miss Spokesperson for this alliance, is like, you know the game the best. You've won the most competitions. Okay, like, I know she won the first 2 competitions, but those are the only 2 competitions she's won. Like, she's won 1 more competition than the next person. So, like, whatever. It's a little early in the game to be like, you won the most competitions, but whatever. So Shannon is like, all right, well, if I'm such a big target, then, like, why would you want to get rid of a target that could be protecting you, you know? She would be like a meat shield for them. So she feels like the reasons that they're giving her are not really adding up. She feels like maybe it's like a personal thing or something. She can't figure out why she is up on the block. So there's more back and forth about who's the strongest, blah, blah, blah. Then Shannon is freaking crying. She's like, I have no one in this house, and I feel like an outcast, and no one even gives a shit that I'm here. She's very upset, okay? She says she's been a target since day 1. And Marissa's like, oh, but, like, you love Big Brother. You love this game. And Shannon's like, I don't love it anymore. Like, after this, I'm not gonna love it. You know, her ass is gonna be watching those feeds. Okay, so anyway, Brandy is like, we all like you as a person. So Shannon, like, turns to Ross and Marissa, and she's like, I'm glad that a Final Four means something to you guys. Ross and Marissa! So She's like, I don't know what I would have done without that. Ooh. So then she's like, you guys let Omarosa and Meta get in your ear, and like, you let this happen. So then they start asking her questions. I mentioned in, I think it was yesterday's spoiler, about some suspicious activity during the HOH competition that led Ross and Marissa's group to believe that Shannon has something going on with James and Mark. I guess she was like helping them out or like talking to them during the competition. So she's like, I just wanted someone from our group to win. She didn't want Meta to win because he's so unpredictable. So she's like, I was just telling them the best way to like hit the rock or whatever. It was some sort of golf thing. So I don't know. Then Omarosa comes in. Oh boy. Shannon says, can you not be in here for this? And Omarosa says, I will not be dismissed. So then they start going back and forth, and Omarosa is like, okay, Shannon, answer me this. Were you gaming before I got back from the hospital? So Shannon's like, well, I didn't know what was going to happen, and I was really upset about the conversation that we had in the bedroom before the HOH competition. If you remember, Omarosa was like, she was saying some pretty nasty stuff. She was like calling Shannon like a mean girl, bitch, manipulator person, and she was like, is that why you were upset? And Shannon's like, no, it's because you played this other card that she doesn't even want to bring up again. It was the race card. Because she feels like it's inappropriate, and she just did not like it. It was ugly. So then Omarosa's like, well, when I was on the block, I was gracious and respectful. And Brandy's like, no. She's like, you definitely said some things that were below the belt, but we're just gonna leave that where it is for now. So yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Shannon says that she hasn't done anything behind anyone's back since the flip. The flip was like 2 days ago, but that's fine. So then, you know, more tears. It's just the same crap over and over again. I'm not going to bore you guys with it, but everybody's telling Shannon how great she is and how much they love her. Now get out! They're done with her. Alright, so a little later, they have the Power Veto player pick, and of course we have Ari, James, and Shannon playing, and then the 3 extra players are Brandy, Ross, and Omarosa, so it should be good. Alright, so then, after the draw, Brandy goes over to Shannon, and she's like, I want you to know, I'm gonna play hard for this veto and win it for you. What? That does not sound right. So then later, Brandy is telling Ross about this, and she's like, oh yeah, I told Shannon that I'd use the veto on her, but like, no. She just wants to make sure that she's cool with Shannon in case she wins the power of veto, because then Shannon's still going to be around. Brandy wants to make sure they're on good terms, so there's like no way that Brandy would actually use the POV on Shannon. Alright, so then the rest of the night was actually pretty tame, you know, just a lot of rehashing, like, oh my god, I can't believe Shannon is so upset. And then Shannon just like off on her own. Okay, so then today, it was not a calm day. Today, this morning, Ross and Marissa were trying to kind of unburn some bridges with Shannon because their relationship is not great right now, but you know, there is that chance that Shannon will win the power veto and still be around next week. So they're chatting in the Landmark bedroom, and Ross is like, I want you to know that I wanted Omarosa and Meta up this week. And that is true. He purposefully, I can never remember if it's purposefully or purposely. I feel like it's purposefully. No, it's not. Okay, it's purposely. Whatever. He said on purpose earlier this week to Ari that he wanted Omarosa and Meta up to cover his ass. So yeah, he can say that, honestly. So then he's like, the other people in the group wanted you and James up, so I had to either go along with it or freaking jump in front of the train, and you know he wasn't going to do that. So he's like, I want you to know, I did not want this. So then Shannon is like, yeah, I get it, whatever. She's upset because the things that she's being accused of aren't even true. She's like, everything that I've been saying is the truth. And it is true, like, she didn't have all these side deals going on that they're all accusing her of, and it's just like she breathes, and they're like, oh my god, she just breathed with Mark. That is so messed up. So yeah, I mean, they're after her because they feel very threatened by her. So then she says, like, if I don't win today, I'm going to be by myself. You know, if I'm still up on the block against James, it would be better to keep me because James has Mark. So if you keep me around, I'm going to be an ally for you. But if James is still here, you're going to have two people going after you. So, like, what do you want to do here? All right. So then there was a really interesting conversation between Shannon and Omarosa in the green bedroom. Shannon's all teary again. She's like, can I have a hug? So then she's saying, Omarosa, I just want you to hear from me that all last week I was fighting for Keisha to go. This is even before we knew that you had asthma. Because obviously, Omarosa was a better person to keep around after they found out about the asthma because they were like, yeah, she's not a big threat. So she's like, even before that, I was fighting for you to stay and for Keisha to go. So Omarosa's like, I want to have a fresh start with you. I do not want a guy to win this. You know, we can't let the guys pick us off. That would be so freaking embarrassing. So she's saying, promise me that you're going to fight and win the veto. And Shannon's like, yes. So then Omarosa is telling Shannon, you need to go talk to Brandy and Ari if you don't win the power veto because they're really pissed at Ross and Marissa right now. You know, because they found out about the Final Four deal with Shannon and James. They're not actually pissed, but whatever. So then she's also saying that Ross and Marissa, she believes, cut a deal with James and Mark. That's not really true. Like, they are working together, but there's no, like, Final Four deal or anything like that with James and Mark that I know of. And then Omarosa also let slip that the group wanted to backdoor Shannon last week. And I'm putting week in quotes because, again, it was like 2 days ago. But when I say week, I mean like the last eviction cycle. So Shannon's like, wait, they were going to backdoor me? What now? Yeah. So that's an interesting little nugget. Okay, so then after this conversation was over, Omarosa goes over to Marissa and she's just like, about Shannon, keep her away from me. She is crazy as shit. So which one is real? Was the conversation with Shannon legit or what? Is she just covering all of her bases? I don't know. I could definitely see Omarosa and Shannon working together. I think Omarosa realizes what a big target Shannon has on her. So if she keeps her around, you know, that's one other target other than Omarosa. So I think it would be smart for her to keep Shannon, but who knows if that's actually going to happen. All right, so then a little while later, Shannon is eavesdropping on this heated discussion in the green bedroom between Omarosa and James. There were a few others there. I want to say it was Brandy, Marissa, and Ari, and then Ross comes in later. So to give you guys a little context, earlier in the day, James reported to the Ross and Marissa group that Omarosa came up to him and told him that he is now the target. And they were all like, what? Where the hell did she get that from? So they're talking about this in the green room. And Omarosa's like, you twisted my words. You know, I was just trying to encourage you and like be like, keep your chin up because I know what it feels like being up on the block. And James is insisting that they're talking about two different incidents. Apparently there was some incident in the kitchen and something in the bathroom. And Omarosa's like, yeah, you asked me if your deal with Ross and Marissa fell through and if you're in trouble. So it was like, oh, it was kind of confusing. It was very tedious because they were talking about these like very specific conversations. And I don't think both of them were on the feeds. I think one of them was on the feeds, I think. But neither of them were budging on it. It definitely seemed like the group was siding with James. I'm pretty sure they believe James over Omarosa. So James is like, I'm not going to get into a huge fight about this. He leaves. So then Omarosa, reading the room, is just like, should I just start working with the guys? Like, I feel like you guys aren't with me, so that's not cool. Like, just tell me if you're coming after me. Okay, so then, are you ready now for your brain to really explode? Because I felt like mine was going to. Ari, Brandy, Marissa, and Ross are up in the HOH room. And Brandy's like, why are we voting for James to stay again? What? So Ross is like, wait a second. I wanted Omarosa and Meta up on the block. And I only agreed to this plan of Shannon and James going up because we agreed to get rid of Shannon. If we're going after James now, that is effed up. So Brandy's like, oh no, we're just talking about it, like nothing's happening. But she's really worried that James is going to come after them next week. That's a definite possibility. So then they're like, all right, we need to make sure that James is going to target Omarosa if he wins HOH instead of one of us. So they freaking bring James up to the HOH room. And Brandy's like, yeah, we'll save you if one of us wins the veto. Really? Will they really, though? Or are they just saying that? Then they make a final 5 deal with James. Oh my god, you really gotta cover your butt up, I guess. I'm pretty sure if Shannon wins the power veto, they're still getting rid of James. This is not an actual final 5 deal. I'm just curious what James would do. Like, does he think this is legit? Would he honor this deal next week if he were to win the HOH? Because if he does, he's a freaking fool. But anyway, the power veto competition should be later tonight, and it's going to be really interesting to see who wins this one. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until tomorrow, much love.